Hey you guys, welcome to the Rubber Room. It's me, Chris Kelly, and I'm going to take just a minute. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Here we go. I just want to make sure I was in the right spot and all there. Okay, so I wanted to share with you today one of the classes we did over the weekend, which uses this stamp set, which is the Happier Than Happy stamp set. This is not what we did this weekend during my classes. This is actually a class that I took from my downline, Jackie, and she is extremely talented. So she and her partner, Soraya, designed this class for us, and I just have to share with you, it is so gorgeous. So we made this box, and you open it up, and we also, when you open it up, it looks like this. We also made these 4 cards that slide in, or 4 tags that slide into a little pocket there. And then we made 4 cards. So it holds 4 cards with the envelopes in this little pocket here, and then in the front little pocket, your tags fit in there. So let's check them out. These are our cards, and they came with the envelope, so lots of die cutting and punching, but this little bear is so adorable. And then we did this one. This one's some designer series ribbon or paper, and then we frayed our ribbon. So it's that gorgeous ribbon that comes with the bundle, and we just frayed it. It was super fun technique. And then this one was really pretty with the little die cut edge on it, that little ruffly edge I really like. And then this was the Hello Baby one, which is one of the stamp sets in that set, which I think is just really adorable. And then some more of the designer series paper and the little tag. And then we made these 4 tags, and I think they are so adorable. Isn't that cute? I think all of them are really cute. And if you are not a tag person, these can easily be put right on top of a card. I love this little bear waving, and she did trim that ribbon in half, so really pretty. And this one's got just a little tiny leaf there, and the sequins, the adhesive back sequins, are just absolutely gorgeous on these tags. And then we have this one that has the little tree stump with it. The die set with this is just amazing. There are like dies for the little mushrooms and the owl. There's a fox and all kinds of great dies with it. And then this one, and I love that she put this little thanks right inside the bear's belly. I think that's really, really cool. I got some new lights down in the Rubber Room, and I can see it looks like it's so much brighter. I'm really excited about it. I wondered what it would look like when we finally got it started. So before we jump into what we're going to do today, I had to go to the grocery store or the drugstore today, and I found this. It's amazing to me, number one, that we have candy corn out, but there was a whole aisle and a half at Walgreens with Halloween candy. Okay, so this is candy corn, and I know now they have all different flavors of candy corn. They've gone like right off the deep end with candy corn, Oreo cookies, Kit Kats. No, you get like 10 or 20 flavors of everything. So this one has fruit punch and vanilla ice cream, and it also has hot dog, hamburger, and popcorn. So if you are a candy corn kind of gal, leave a comment and let me know. Are you going to try it? Are you not going to try it? Last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I think they did a Thanksgiving dinner candy corn. Oh my gosh, I thought it was absolutely horrible. But this one I'm kind of intrigued about. I don't think hot dog or hamburger will be very good, but I think popcorn could be a really, really good flavor. And vanilla ice cream, how can you go wrong with that? So if you are a candy corn fan, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. So this weekend I had my Super Saturday classes, and we did 3 classes, and one of the classes was the Happier Than Happy class, and we used this stamp set, and it has a set of coordinating dies that go with it. So you can see here's the little stump that we used, and the fox and the bear and the trees. Lots of really fun stuff. There's a little tiny acorn over there, a little tag down here. Just some really great dies in this set. And you can see it on page 46 and 47 of your catalog. They actually have it as a suite. So you can order the suite with one item number, which is 158956 for $68.50. And you'll get the stamp set and the dies and the designer series paper, and then you get 2 spools of ribbon, one Sahara sand and one old olive. And then it has over here, you can see on page 46, all of the really great samples that they shared with us. This just looked like a really, really fun stamp set, I think. So I was really excited and couldn't wait to do it as one of my classes. So when you come to class, you get a packet like this. This is a cello envelope, and it is labeled Happier Than Happy, and inside of it are all of the materials needed for the 3 cards that we are going to be making. So let's get started. We're going to start off with a gray one. Not really a gray. This one is Sahara sand. And everything you need to make your card is right inside your envelope. This is the wrong card. We're going to actually start off with this one. I'm going to get it together here, right? Okay, so that's the one we're going to start off with. And we're going to start with a piece of coral. And it's Calypso Coral, and it is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and we scored the 8.5 inch side at 4 1/4. So we're just going to fold on that score line and burnish it, and then we also scored it at 2 1/8. So we are going to fold that back. So that score line is going to be folded back towards the outside edge of our card. And we're just going to burnish that score line after we've folded it. And then I'm going to take a piece of designer series paper. It would look really cool on this side. I think I might do it on this side. Well, it might be kind of busy. What do you think? I think that's pretty busy. So we'll go ahead and use the other side, which just has some Calypso Coral hearts on it. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal on it. And, oh, I got some sticky on my scrap paper here. So I'm just going to put that piece of designer series paper right down on that fold. And then I'm going to take a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch basic white cardstock. And again, I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal just in my corners and then kind of on the side. And I'm going to put that on what's going to be the inside of my card. And you can decorate this piece if you want. You can stamp some mushrooms on it. You can stamp the little bear on it. You can stamp a fox on it. You can really kind of decorate it up however you want. But I'm just going to leave it like that. And then I have taken a piece of Calypso Coral cardstock and a piece of the designer series paper from this pack that coordinates in this suite. So I'm just going to layer them up. I did cut them out using the Stylish Shapes dies. And you guys have seen me use those dies a ton. I love those dies. They are layering squares that have that little kind of stitching at the edge. They have squares, circles, and then they have some banners down at the bottom of them. So I'm going to put this on my card, but I only want to put it on the left side. I only want the adhesive on my left side because I don't want to tape my card closed. So I'm just going to put it on my left side, and then I can still open my card. Okay, and then I have the little label that comes in the die set right here, all punched out. So I'm going to take the thanks that comes with this in this suite, and I'm going to stamp it in basic gray. For those of you that don't know, our stamp pads open like a compact. So you just put your thumb right there in that groove, lift it up, and then slide it this way. If that is hard for you to do, you can hold it like this. I hold it away from me and put my thumbs where these two dots are at the top and just push down, and that pops the end of it up. So then I can take it and open it the same way. Okay? And then when you're inking, you just want to do light taps. You don't want to smush it down in there because then it will get ink around the edges of your stamp. Okay? So there's my stamp. And I intentionally stamped it crooked because I want this tag to go kind of like that on the top there. So I'm going to bring in some of my dimensionals. And you can, if crooked makes you crazy, you don't have to stamp it crooked. You can stamp it straight, and it would be just as lovely stamped straight. So I'm just going to take 2 dimensionals, and these are the regular dimensionals, not the minis, but you could use the minis if you like those. So I'm going to take these 2. This is a super easy card to make, and you can use any of the designer series paper that's in here too. All of it coordinates together. It's Stampin' Up! They kind of take the guesswork out on the back of your designer series paper pack. They tell you all of the colors that coordinate with it, so you don't even have to guess at what color it is. And all of the Stampin' Up! Colors coordinate just seamlessly with one another. So they've really made it very easy for you to coordinate all of your colors for your designer series paper, markers, ink, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to place my bow on my little glue dot, and I'm going to put it right there where the hole is. So really quick, easy card, but it really kind of packs a punch. I think it's absolutely adorable. I love the little fox kind of peeking through there. So when I did it for my class, I also did the gray version. So for the gray version, all I did was change out the basic gray in the designer series piece of paper. Okay, so 2 really super cute cards. And super fun and easy to make. I like easy, right? Okay, now I'm looking. I forgot to share this one with you guys. This was a little treat that Jackie and Soraya gave us at their class. And it actually has a little stick in here. If you can see that, it's a little twig just kind of tucked inside there. It just looks so realistic. And then they have just the tag with "For You" on it. And then inside the box, there's some candy. Look at those chocolates. Those chocolates are actually going to be packed into my suitcase on Wednesday. Wednesday, I am leaving for New Orleans for a Stampin' Up! Event for Silver Elite leaders and above. I am super excited. This is like one of the first events that, live events that Stampin' Up! Has been able to do since COVID started. So I'm super excited about it. We've been remodeling here, and I didn't get my swaps done, but I don't even care. I'm just excited to be going. Okay, so this one is our next one, and this one is Old Olive and Evening Evergreen, which is one of our new in colors. So we've done all of the die cutting, and we have 2 trees, and then we have one kind of like a pine tree, not like a skeleton tree. And then we have 3 die cuts. These 2 are gonna layer one on top of each other. And this again is the designer series paper, as well as this one. And then we have the layering circle in basic white. And again, these were cut with the stylish shapes dies, the new stylish shapes dies. And then we have a stitched circle die. So we are going to, this is a short piece of paper. I think it's like 6.5 inches. Let me see. I've forgotten my measurements for this one. I want to say 6.5 inches, but I could be way off. Oh no, I'm not too far off. It is 6 3/8 inches. And it is scored at 4 1/4. So we're just gonna take the top part of this and fold it down. We're gonna come in and just fold and burnish that score line. And again, we have another piece of basic white cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. I always try and do some different kind of fun folds in my classes. So these 2 are kind of the fun folds for this class. I'm gonna put that in the middle. It's always fun when they have a little bit of uniqueness to them with a fun fold or anything like that. And then I'm gonna take this kind of evergreen tree and I'm gonna glue that down in my bottom left corner. Kind of getting a lot of things going here. I'll have to move up so you can see me. Let's see if I have one that's tipped upside down. I like to store my glue upside down. So there's a glue down here and ready to go when I'm ready to go. And of course it never works that way, right? Let's see if I poke it with a little pin, if that will help me out a little bit. This one really feels like it could be empty, but oh, there is a lot of glue there. And you could actually use your Stampin' Seal on here if you want. Whatever adhesive you like is the one you should reach for, because it's obviously the one you feel most comfortable with. And then I'm going to take this piece of designer series paper and I'm going to add that to the top flap here. And again, you can choose any pattern that you want, any side that you want. This is just a really fun pack of paper. Ooh, I'm at the end of my Stampin' Seal. Let's see if I have another one over here. I'm sure I must, right? Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a brand new one. I always have about 2 or 3 of these going, one like in every spot of the rubber rim. So I'm just going to take this one and center it on there and then press it down. Okay, now we're going to do, I'm going to set that aside. We're going to do some stamping. I'm going to take my Calypso Coral and I am going to take this piece of basic white, which was just a scrap that everybody got in their envelope. And this is a distinctive stamp. Whoops, here we go. Meaning that you're gonna get a lot of texture with it. If you can see, there's like little spaces that are almost white in there. And so it gives it more of a 3D dimensional look to it. Even when you stamp it, you can see it has kind of like that furry little spot there. Okay, then I'm going to take my basic gray and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on my die cut circle. My sentiment says, happier than happy for you. And when you stamp lightly, you do not get, when you ink lightly, you do not get any ink around here. You can tell with this one that I stamped and got a little bit of ink in here. And what happens when you do that, then when you stamp, you're gonna get that little image right in here. And you really don't want that. That's kind of like a ring around the rubber kind of thing. And so I try to avoid that. A lot of people call it a halo, but we really want to avoid that. And the best way to avoid that, I'm trying to get all my sticky up while I'm chatting here. The best way to avoid it is just to ink very lightly when you do ink. So I'm gonna stamp my sentiment on there. So I'm just gonna show you when you ink lightly, you're just gonna tap 1, 2, 3, just like that. And then you'll get that nice crisp image without ink all the way around your edges. All right. So let's get those two out of here. Put my dirty stamps up there. And, oh, we get to die cut this box. That's going to be our next fun little part of this card. So I'm going to bring in my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And when you come to class, all of your die cuts that can be die cut ahead of time for you are. But this one, you really need to stamp it and then die cut it. That's the easiest way to do it. So we have our little die cut here. And what you're going to do is just line your die cut up exactly on your image. And if you had just this image cut out and were trying to stamp on it, it would be really kind of difficult. I'm going to turn my machine around, and my layering for this one, on the top of your base plate, you have pictures of how to layer. So when I'm using just a die cut, I'm going to go in number 1 plate, if you can see that, then a number 2, and my paper with my image on it. And then I'm going to put my die cut right on top of my image. Okay, and then I'm going to slide that into my machine. And I actually am going to use a little tiny post-it note there to hold it. Let me get a... You can use washi tape, you can use post-it note tape, anything you want. I just happen to have some little post-its here. So what I'm going to do is line up my image, and I don't want it to slide at all. So I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to take my post-it note, put it right on top of it. Okay? And then I'm going to take my other number 2 plate, if I can find it. I am sure I had to brought both plates over here, right? Okay, so here's my other number 2 plate. I'm going to put that right on top of it. I'm going to stagger these 3 plates at the end. So they're staggered just like that. And then I'm going to push them through my big shot, or my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And this little machine, if you don't have it, it is a must-have item. Not only is it good for embossing, but you can cut you can cut your die cuts with it, but you can also emboss with it. And it folds up just like this. So you have this little tiny machine that is super light that you can carry with you if you're going someplace. It takes up very little room on your table. It's just one of those things that's kind of my go-to. I use it all the time. Okay, so now we have our little fox, and let's put our card together. So I'm going to take my little square. So I have my little layering square, and this square I'm going to wrap my ribbon around. Now this is some of the old olive ribbon that comes with the suite, and I tied a little piece on top of it. Now, in case you don't get that exactly where you want it, you can move it. It's super easy to move. So I put my forefinger on the bottom, my thumb on the top, and then just pull the ribbon. So you can see you can easily put it wherever you want it. And I think that's about where I want it. So I'm just going to use some of my Stampin' Seal. Let's get this baby started on the back here. and put my ribbon on. Put my ribbon pretty close to the bottom. I want my little fox to be walking on my card, and I also want those trees there. Okay, totally missed putting Stamp and Seal right there where I wanted that ribbon. Okay, and then I'm going to add some Stamp and Seal right on top of my ribbon because I want to make sure it's not going to pull out on the sides there. And then I'm just going to center that on this piece of Designer Series paper and make sure it's good and straight. Okay, now I have these two trees. I'm going to put my lightest tree in the back, and that's going to be my old olive tree. And I'm going to put some glue on my evening evergreen tree. I like to let my glue get a little bit tacky before I put it on. Boy, my glue is just being a kind of a pain today. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna let it get kind of tacky while I put this one in. And I'm just gonna tuck it right under my ribbon. I'm gonna go about there. And then I'm gonna do my evergreen. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna tuck it right under my ribbon. About there. Now I don't want these pieces sticking out at the bottom there. So I'm just gonna bring in my paper snips and go up under them and trim them off. So I'm just gonna kind of push my ribbon up a little bit. Just push it up a little bit and then trim it. Okay? And then I'm gonna put some dimensionals on my fox. And again, I'm using the regular ones, but you are more than welcome to use those little mini ones if you like. In fact, I think I'm going to take some of these little mini ones and put them right on his tail there, and then kind of one in the middle there. So I mixed them up and used both of them. And we're just going to plop this fox down. I always am a messy stamper. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of lift that ribbon up a bit. There we go. And my little feet are going to go right on top of them. There. Okay. Now where did I put that card? Okay, here it is. And again, I'm just going to put my tape on the top of this one because I don't want to adhere my card all closed. I think I'm going to put it like right in here, but I'm not going to press it down until I put this on. And my sentiment is going to go up on dimensionals, but I want to make sure I have enough room to get it under his head. So I'm going to put dimensionals up at the top of it. So I'm going to look and see where the happy ear is, and then just put dimensionals up there. And I am going to take the backs off there and just kind of slide this down behind the fox's head. I'm gonna have to lift that up. I'm just gonna lift my dimensional up a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna lift that dimensional up and then slide this right under there. And I need to get it up a little bit higher so my dimensional is not hitting there. Okay. So my sentiment is just slid behind the little fox's head. Yeah, and then I'm going to center it over here and down. So now I'm going to go ahead and push my square with the adhesive on it down. Okay, it's going to look like this. And then I'm going to put some of these little classic matte dots on there. And I'm going to use, I think I'm going to run them right across the top. And I'll put a big one. I'm going to get my take your pick tool and put a big one right there, and then 2 little ones on either side. Okay? How cute is that? I love the designer series paper in there, and I think there's just something about that little fox and the little bear. They just seem like really friendly little animals. So there we go. Now, if you are a person who has a thing about faces, my words are a little bit crooked here, so it bothers me. So I'm just going to pop that up and straighten it out a little bit. There we go. So if you're a person who has a thing about faces, you can easily take your black marker or your basic gray marker and just put 2 little eyes on that fox. I'm going to be sending this one to my granddaughter. Today was her first day of kindergarten. So I am going to add some little googly eyes because she likes googly eyes on everything. So I'm going to add some of those, but you can easily pencil them in if you want to. Okay, card number 3. Let me just take a minute and then clear off my space a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna swipe left and see who here's here. Kathy Moore's here, Carol Reed, Patricia, Carol Korleski, Nancy Jones, Lori Campo, Rose. Thank you guys so much for watching me. Carol Sanderson. Carol, I missed you on Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching me. I absolutely love it when you're here and you comment. And I hope some of you are still going to comment about the candy corn, right? Gross or not gross? Let me know what you think. Okay, this one has lots of pieces to it. We're going to have some fun with this one. This one might have been my favorite out of all of the cards that we did for this class. Okay, so we have some Sahara Sand cardstock, and it is 8.5 by 5.5. The 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. We're just going to fold on that score line and burnish it. Okay, and then we have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 basic white that we have already embossed. We used the stitched shapes to cut out this great circle with it, and then we embossed it with the tree bark embossing folder. Okay, so I am going to take some of our foam adhesive strips, and these strips I like to use when I am doing a big piece of cardstock. When I'm popping up a big piece of cardstock, they come in strips like this. I would say that's about maybe 1/4 inch wide. And I'm just gonna peel it up. They are the same width here as our dimensionals are. So I am just gonna put that on the back of my card. And I'm gonna flip it up at the end and cut it with my snips. I don't know about you guys, but I use my snips to cut everything, and then I go in and clean them so that they're not sticky. A lot of times I cut my dimensionals in half. I use them to cut this, and these are all sticky on the back, so my scissors do get kind of sticky and they do need to be cleaned. I use Goo Gone on them, and I also use my little adhesive remover eraser. So you can use either of those things. I'm just gonna put this all the way around here. And again, just folding it back and cutting it. And then I have just this little extra kind of piece right here. So I'm gonna put this down here, just about in the middle. And then I'm gonna add this whole piece to the front of my card, right in the center. And I find if I hold my paper up like this and line up the bottom part first, I usually have a better chance of getting it straight. Oh, that one did not go very straight. So I'm just gonna pop it up, and I am going to stand up because sometimes when I can see the whole card, it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna gently lift this up. It's kind of sticking there. There we go. And let's make sure my card base is straight. And then see if I can get this straight. Nope, it's gotta come down a little bit more. There we go. Third time is the charm, apparently, right? Okay, so for this one, I have this little piece here of Sahara sand, and I have this little piece of ribbon here. And I'm going to fray this ribbon and add it to the bottom of my card. So I'm just gonna come in and cut off the seam on the edge of my ribbon. So just that little bit of seam there. Following in Jackie's lead, you guys, all of those little frayed ribbons and ribbon cut in half that she showed us how to do in her class. I really liked them. So, and then you're just gonna start pulling your threads out. So I'm just gonna go in and kind of grab a hold of them, pull them down, and those pieces you can save to use for something else. So you can tie those in a little knot if you wanted to. You could tie a bow out of them. Lots of different things you can do with them. Or you can toss them, but they really do make cute little bows. Okay. Woo. I'm gonna only take about 3 more, I think, because I want a little bit of a base here. So you can see I still have that kind of seam there. And what I'm gonna do is put adhesive on the back of my Sahara sand. And you could use some sticky strip back here too if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna use my adhesive. And I'm actually gonna put it all over this because I'm gonna put this right on my card. And got some little fringes in there. So I have this little piece of Sahara sand cardstock, and I'm just gonna start at one end and put it right on top of my ribbon. Okay, so then you have that great ribbon with kind of like a little fringy skirt on the bottom of it. I think that's so cute, and it just gives you another option of different things that you can do with your ribbon. I love being able to do different things with all of our tools. And I'm just gonna put this down in here like that. Okay, get these out of here. And we'll move this, and I have 2 more things that we're gonna stamp. I'm gonna put my sentiment on here, and I'm gonna put my sentiment in Mossy Meadow. I do not see my sentiment here. That is an odd one. Here's another piece I'm looking for my sentiment and my little squirrel moment. So I took some of the fringed, this part here that I told you to save, and just took it and tied it in a knot here. So you can see it's kind of fun to play with. Okay, so you guys, seriously, you let me look around for my sentiment. And it is like right here. And I'm going, where could my sentiment be? Wow. You would be surprised probably by how often that happens to me. Oh, one of my better moments. Okay, Chris. And I also am going to stamp in Sahara sand. Where did that get to? Was pretty sure I had just used it here, but maybe I didn't. So I'll go ahead and stamp in this gray. We'll use the gray, and what I'll do is I'll stamp off rather than going to look for my Sahara sand, which could be right here. If you guys see it, leave a comment and let me know. So I'm going to take my basic gray and I'm going to stamp off, which means I'm just going to stamp onto my scrap paper, my first generation, they call this, and then this is going to be my second generation. So I'm just going to stamp my beer. Oh, that didn't turn out very good at all, did it? I'm going to turn it over and try it again. Let me see if I can quickly see my Sahara sand. I do, so hang on just 1 minute, guys. I see my crumb cake, but maybe that will work for us. We'll kind of clean him off. And again, this is a distinctive stamp, so you can see the variations in the levels of the rubber, and it's kind of rough looking. So I'm gonna stamp it in crumb cake for us. And that might work. That will work better. It's not the Sahara sand it should be, but we are going to go with it. All right. And then get that back over there. I'm trying to keep myself a little bit organized here so I can find things. And as you can see, it's working out very well. Okay, so let's put this aside. I'm going to bring my little paper snips in. And I'm going to trim around my words. I'm getting just like a big mess over here. Everything's getting caught up in it. Sheesh. All right. Let's get serious. So I'm going to cut around my words. And I did stick, for the class, I did stick a big piece of just scrap paper in there so everybody could stamp on them. I like to use this kind of trick when I'm stamping my words because it's just kind of fun to get in there and add some texture and dimension. I hate to always be using rectangle dies or circle dies or even kind of labels or tags. They're lots of fun to use, but this I think gives it a real fun look. That it looks kind of like it's just tailored to this particular sentiment. So, and it only takes a minute, and I don't worry about even being straight with it. I try and go in and out a little bit, and it takes a lot less pressure off when you're kind of making it free form instead of so, like I like to call it, intense. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put my Stampin' Seal on the back of this, and I'm gonna add that right on top of my Sahara sand piece. It's gonna look just like that. I think that is so fun. I love that little fringe on there. Okay, so let's bring in I'm looking for my little circle here, which I can't seem to find at the moment. Boy, I'm like a real hot mess. I know I took it out of that envelope. Okay, so let's bring back in our little stamp and cut and emboss machine. And we'll open it up. And we're gonna cut Mr. Bear out, okay? So again, I'm gonna use my base plate, which is a number 1. Put a number 2 on top of it and just kind of bevel them a little bit. And then comes my basic white piece of cardstock and my bear die. Okay, and then I'm gonna put my other number 2 plate right on top of it. Oh, and I can see it moving around. I think we got it though. I think that's going to be our bear. And you can, if you don't want to line it up like that, you can, of course, take that Post-it note and put that on there. And I'm just going to hold the top to give it a little bit of extra support there. We'll pop that through. There we go. And there is our bear. How cute is he? Okay, now I seriously, in order to do the next step, need to find my circle, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stamp on it, and I am always amazed that I can be here, never leave this spot, but continuously lose something here. Let's put this die over here. All right, so I'm gonna have to get another circle. So bear with me 1 second and I will see what I can find. Like we're gonna have to make one, you guys. So let's see, we have one cut out that we're just gonna make smaller. And I'm gonna have to trim it when we're done. So what we had was the circle that was cut out from here will fit right in the middle of this. Okay, so that's the circle size that you want. I'm not sure where mine went, so we're gonna make this one work, okay? And I'm gonna start by stamping some like little flowers or leaves on here. I'm gonna do 1st generation and 2nd generation, okay? And I'm gonna come up just a little bit because we are gonna be trimming this circle around a little. And then I'm gonna come in and use just another little leaf. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay. And then I'm gonna bring in this balmy blue ink and my blending brush. So I'm going to take my blending brush and just do, I'm left-handed, so sometimes it's hard for me to get in a spot where you guys can see me good. So I'm just going to do the tap, 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 and then I'm going to kind of come off here and onto my paper. And you can see it's going to give it like kind of a blue sky look. And I'm just going to keep adding more ink to it as I need to. And just go in a little circular motion around it. Turn my paper. So that's going to give me that kind of nice sky look around my little circle. Make it just a little bit brighter in there. Okay. And I am going to, dare I, slide that. I'm gonna go just around my edge. So I'm just gonna take my snips and go right around the inside edge of that circle. And if I was not doing this live, I would of course find my stylish shapes circles and die cut this one. But I hate for you guys to have to watch me search all over for where I may have left that. So I'm just gonna trim right around there. Not worry about getting it exact because we are gonna slip it right underneath this one. So I'm gonna trim it just a teensy bit more. I am just kind of going right inside there. And if you do this at home and use your stitch rectangle die, you're gonna get that look that you'll be able to tell that you just punched it out you just cut it out with the stitched shapes. So I think we'll make this one work. Yep, I think we can do that. So I'm gonna put my adhesive, stamp and seal right on the back of it. And again, if you're a glue person, use your glue. And I'm going to kind of go over to the side with it. I think that will work. Okay, and then I'm going to take my bear and I'm going to cut from his arm down off. So I'm going to do just like that. And put some dimensionals behind him. One over where his hand is and one on the back of his head. And then we're just going to stick him right down inside of a square here like this. And I actually want to put him up just a little bit higher. There we go. And I'm gonna give him one of these adorable little butterflies. These brushed metallic butterflies are so cute. So we're just gonna have him, wow, what a mess I am, right? We're just gonna have him holding on like that. Okay, and their sentiment says the world is a better place because of you. I think that's so cute. Okay, let me quickly check and see if anybody has any questions. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Catherine. I'm so glad all of you guys are here watching me. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I think I'm good there. And again, these are the 3 cards that we made. So we did this one, the Happier Than Happy stamp set, and this one, and then this one. So all kinds of really fun cards. And again, that was my class from last week, our super stamping class that was held last week. So I have lots of things coming up in September. I will be putting my last ditch effort in towards earning the cruise. It's a Norwegian cruise. It's an incentive trip. It will be my 6th one that I've earned, and I'm super excited about it. I could use your help in earning it. So if you want to know how you can help me, it's by attending classes, placing orders, and signing up for my team. So there's lots of different things that you can do. I will be having, I think, 4 classes in September. I'm going to be starting my Christmas club. I have an advanced sampler class that I'm going to be doing, and I will have my regular Saturday stamping classes. So I hope to see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.